People. Que pasa, sakpa, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. The first thing that is popping in the news, it is called the Oscar or the Emmy for the best actor/actress is the latest recipient. His name is Detective Corporal Maurice Whittingham. In about December of 2023, two men, the Detective Corporal Mr. Whittingham and his crony, 32-year-old man, said to be a construction worker. They were accused, they were arrested and charged for robbery and also KID NAPPING. Pretty much these two individuals that were caught and others conspired to rob a delivery truck with some oil, the contents from Seprad, valued at 3 million Jamaican dollars. Based on the information, it is said that the people were driving their truck when they were signaled. People claiming say, say you have some sorts of leak, oil leak out of your engine, rate, lele, blue, blah, bling. When the men stopped, they were pounced upon by a group of men. The men were tied up. The men were locked up in the truck. They were KID NAPPED, and the contents was stolen, everything. However, that vehicle that was picking up the contents of that vehicle, the poor hold on upon somites. This occurred in December. Mr. Whittingham is presently out on bail. His accomplice went to court. Both of them went to court a couple of days ago. His accomplice was remanded. He got his bail extended. However, the thing that most persons were baffled about is the fact that he attended court in a wheelchair. If you look at your screen, that is your detective, Mr. Whittingham, in a wheelchair. It seems as if it worked. His bail was extended. Now, this is a very disturbing trend that we see kind of pop up after a big case that you might have known about. It is called the SSL. Now, in that SSL case, there was a lady, notorious thief, Jean Panton. Jean Panton was partying her life away. Jean Panton, I am not going to say that she was in the best physical shape, but she was not wheelchair bound. She was not bounded to a walker. However, this is Jean Panton. If you look at your screen, pictures of her on her last 2 court dates or so. She was arrested. She was charged for swindling 9,000 plus people, including Usain Bolt. When she went to court, she claimed that she have all sorts of physical disability, all sorts of ailment, and she required surgery, and the facilities that she's at, it is not good enough for her because they cannot cater to her needs. She needs to be out, so therefore she can take care of herself and she can have assistance while she awaits the verdict or the outcome of the case. Now, when we said to ourselves, is this a new disturbing trend? No, it's not. This disturbing trend started with a man called Carlos Hill. This is Carlos Hill's picture on your screen as I speak. Carlos Hill was the top scammer, top defrauder, top Ponzi schemer before there was a SSL, right after Eagle, which is also Mr. Crosscarry's work. Carlos Hill, at the time there was a company called Cash Plus. At the time there was also a next Ponzi scheme place called Olint. However, Carlos Hill, he was in charge of Cash Plus. So I showed you Carlos Hill when he was just arrested. So the poor them there. The case dragged on and it dragged on forever and a day. This is Carlos Hill after he beat the case, bucked the system on some sorts of technicality. He swindled, defrauded Jamaicans for a couple of billions of dollars. However, your DPP that you saw celebrating when she got 25% conviction of the one-done trial suspect, Carlos Hill beat that case. I am assuming Carlos Hill is enjoying the proceeds of his crime right now. It's a weekend. Carlos Hill might be at some sorts of golf course somewhere in Florida, somewhere at some sorts of expensive resort, courtesy of the DPP, the government of Jamaica, and worstly, the victims who are Jamaicans. So people, when we think about what we see this officer is doing, and what we see is a very disturbing trend, starting from Carlos Hill. I am not going to say that Carlos Hill is the first one. However, we see everybody is using the same tactics. The tactics that Carlos Hill used, he got a top lawyer, and then he went to court and he played the sympathy card. Him act as if something wrong with him. He has physical deficiency. We saw that he had success. He had success because history has shown us that, listen, once you're a top chopper, top scammer, you will more than likely never see a day in any sort of penal institution. The person that is going to get FUCK with that pianist in the penal institution is the people of Jamaica, the real victims. As it pertains to Jean and Panton, I am not going to say it worked. She pretty much got a whole bunch of time before she was locked up, so therefore she could destroy the evidence. However, eventually, she would have to pay the piper. Eventually, because she is a scapegoat. Eventually, because the government of Jamaica, meaning the JCF, the DPP, Andrew Hollis, the finance minister, they are protecting the real criminals. As it pertains to Mr. Corporal Maurice Whittingham, isn't it very strange that on that day in December, that him and his cronies pounce upon these people? He was okay. He had all the strength of 100 bulls. Him tie up the man, them drive with the truck. Him pounce upon him like a thief, like a hyena. However, a couple of months later, fast forward 3 to 4 months later, he has physical deficiency. People, I don't know what is going on in Jamaica. However, what I do know, a whole bunch of these people, them full of all sorts of scam, them full of all sorts of sham, them full of all sorts of craft. However, it seems to be working to some capacity. As it pertains to Mr. Maurice, look at how funny it is. He being a popo officer that should know better. He is out on bail. Don't know if the judge and the DPP fall for some sorts of sympathy and gave him bail. However, his accomplice was remanded back in a custody. So we have to ask the question, wouldn't you think that in most places that are sensible, the popo that was involved would get the bigger brunt of the law, as opposed to the person that is an average civilian, be that he is also a thief, a stick-up kid? But people, the popo is out. The popo is out on bail. However, his partner is locked up, remanded back until they go to courts in, I think, March, end of March 2023. Don't quote me on the dates. Moral of the story is this. These people, they have a polar opposite side, a ebb and a flow. Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. 1 minute them good, 1 minute them bad. 1 minute they are physically able. Whenever them do any sorts of crime and get caught, they want all sorts of sympathy. Them want people for sorry for them. Them I use the sorry for card. Point blank and period. Further on in the news, this is a case where the saying, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. The third time is a charm. Does not appropriately apply. I am speaking about a man, a 53-year-old businessman. His name is Chad Edwards, more affectionately known as Eddie. It seems as if Eddie has been trying on several occasions to pretty much disappear off of the face of the earth. However, all of those tries have been in vain. Nevertheless, he tried and tried and tried again, and he was eventually successful. Sorry for the family, condolences. Based on the information, it is said that Eddie operates a business in a place called Trinity. Trinity is in St. Mary. Word on the street is that Eddie was having financial problem. Eddie was also having women problem. Woman has stressed him out. Don't know if he was not getting adequate dosage of the PUMS or the woman them just has stressed him out. Me not really know the details. However, a couple of days ago, it is said that Eddie get one short rope and jump off a tall building. This occurred on a Tuesday. The last time they saw him was Tuesday at about 9 p.m. Them find him the Wednesday, maybe about 24 hours later. Pretty much the weight of his body was not good for his neck. It did not turn out very, very well in his favor. Based on what people are saying, and like I said before, Eddie have woman and financial problem compounded with the fact that Eddie keeps some sort of session, some sort of dance. And I guess it did not turn out very successful. He was not the best promoter known to man. It is said that that woman problem, financial problem, compounded with this major financial loss that he incurred. It pushed him a bit over the edge. He decided that, listen, this is my last dance, this is my last paradas. The third time is going to be a charm. So I am sure that the curious minds, they are going to want to know, when was the first time? Based on the information, it is said that Eddie tried to drink some sorts of gramazone or gramazone, whatever them call it. However, him body reject it, him puke it back out. Failure in taking away oneself. It is said that Eddie also went to the hardware store, buy one short rope, short but not too short, tied upon a cliff, jump off. Me don't know if people see him or the cliff was not tall enough. It did not work. However, people, like them say, try and try again. The third time was not so charming for Eddie. Moral of the story is this: no matter what you go through in life, it is never reason to give up yourself. There's always a silver lining beyond that dark cloud. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. As distasteful as it sounds, that light at the end of the tunnel was a freight train that hit Eddie. Call it lights out, unfortunately for Eddie, his family, and loved ones. Sad situation. Don't let what happened to Eddie happen to you. That is the moral of the story. Point blank and period. Thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like this, Please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. Also in the description of this video is the link to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. Please to like, please to subscribe, please to follow that channel also. Bless up.